everybody, this is Clarine from In Rainy's room. Today we're going to be making a picnic centerpiece. And I designed mine to make a holder for my napkins, and of course, you know, we all probably have a million of these from the fast food places. But this is what we're going to be making. It's about 4 by 8. Here's one side. Here's one of the ends. Then here's the other side. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. I want to start by giving you the measurements. And this is what you're going to need. It takes 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock, and I used regular 65 pound. And what you're going to need is one that's 12 by 12. Going to score at 4 inches on all 4 sides. Then this is all out of the same base color. You're going to cut the other one 8 by 12, score that at 4 inches and 8 inches, then rotate it to the left, score it at 4 inches. Then you'll cut another piece that's 3.5 by 12 inches. You're going to score that at 4 and 8 inches. And then you'll cut a little one that is 4 inches less 1/16 by 8 less 1/16. And we'll go over that in a little bit. I'm going to cut this out with you today. Then you'll need a piece of chipboard that is 4 less 1/16 by 8 less 1/16, because that's going to be the base on the bottom of your box. So you want to have it a tad smaller. And then out of pattern paper, you need 2 that are 3 3/4 less 1/16 square. That'll be for the 2 end pieces. And then you'll cut 2 that are 3 3/4 less that 1/16 by 7 3/4 less that 1/16. And I'm going to go over all that with you. So let's get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is let's cut these papers. Now, of course, the 12 by 12 is already cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to score those at 4 inches on all 4 sides. So we'll just come 4, end at 8, rotate it, come over here and go from 4 to 8. And this is kind of the base of your box. So what we're going to do, as long as I've got this out, we're going to go ahead and cut these 2 vertical lines. And you're just going to go in these 2 corners. Just see how these form a square? You got a vertical line and that horizontal, and another one up here. So what we're going to do is cut, and I do like to cut before I fold those, just because I get a nicer cut. And I hope this is showing up on the camera. I'm just going to go there, rotate it. We're just releasing those 2 vertical folds. And then what I'm going to do is, this is the valley side, so I'm going to turn this over, fold and burnish my score lines. This guy too. Set that aside. Let me just show you what this is going to form as we go along. I designed this box myself because I couldn't find a pattern that was 4 by 8 to do what I wanted to do. So this is how it's going to fold up and fold part of your box. We'll set that to the side for a minute. The next thing that you're going to cut out of that basic color is, let me move this so I can, we're going to cut this one 8 by 12. So I already pre-measured this, so I know it's 12 by 12. You know, you always have to double check that because they're not all equal. And then this piece we're going to score at 4 and 8. 4 and 8. And then rotate it. You'll score at 4 again. This is actually the other half of that box. And I'm going to move this out of the way a second. All right. So what we're going to do then is cut these 2 squares out. So I'm going to do that. I had rotated it and I'm going up to that horizontal line, and then I'll cut across there. So we're just removing those 2 squares. Like that. Valley side down, fold and score my score lines. And this is going to actually fit inside your box like that. This flap that's out here by itself, you're going to be putting glue back here, and that's going to go in this middle square. Go like that. These will be coming up. And then you'll be putting on these 2 flaps, you'll be gluing those in place. Like that. And that's going to form your square. Okay. The other measurement that you need cut out of the same material is a little divider in the center. And that is going to be this piece. That's going to be 3.5 by 12. So we'll cut that. And then we're going to score that at 4 and 8. And it's cut a little bit shorter so that when it goes in here, it's going to, well, I'll glue it first, then I'll show you where it fits in because I'm getting too many pieces of cardstock around here. All right, now that used up 2 pieces of 12 by 12. There is one more piece that you have to cut out, and that is the one that is 4 by 8, and that's at 1/16. Now I didn't want to mess up a whole third 12 by 12, so I went ahead and cut this from another piece. So what I did was I brought it into my paper cutter, and I'm going to cut it 4 by 8, but it's got to be less than 1/16. So what I did was I lined it up at my 4, and if you push it over, don't go all the way to that 8th. You go to that first little line right here. and then you just cut that, and then you rotate it. Do it with your 8-inch. Don't be afraid of those little 1/16. They really are important. They make a difference when you're trying to get an edge that's not real wide. So I went to my 8, and then I just brought it over, and then I cut it. So I went ahead and did that out of another piece because I didn't want to waste a whole 12 by 12. And then also out of that same measurement is where you cut the chipboard that's going to go in the bottom. All right, and that's all there is to that part. So let's put this box together first, and then I'll go over the pattern paper pieces that you need. So let's get out the glue. I did some of this preparation ahead of time, so I'm going to just glue this. Doesn't require a lot of glue here because all it's doing is holding itself in place. And that's going to go right on this piece of chipboard. Like that. Put that to the side for a minute. And let's go ahead and put this box together. Keeping the 2 sides that we released on your left, you're going to glue these. Remember about the corners, you want to be sure and get glue in the corners. Like that. Now you could use scoring tape if you want. I'm using glue just because when it dries it does give it a little extra strength, and this is a box. So I brought that tab up and I'm bringing it right next to that other score line. And I'll make sure that that's nice and flat. Then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on this side. Thought this would work really well with the 4th of July holiday coming up. So again, I'll just bring that up here onto the corner. See how I'm matching this edge with that score line. And I'll burnish it down here so that it sticks real good. And that second piece that we cut out, it's going to be going in here. You're going to want to put glue on all 3 of these. So I'll put glue on here so that it goes right into that square. Let's do that first. Lining it up, goes right in the middle because there's that other fold line. Keep an eye on your corners here on the right because you want these to be able to fold in. So I'm lining this up on the bottom. With my fold lines. Before I put a lot of pressure on there, I want to make sure everything's lined up. Put that there. And then I'm going to bring this guy in. This would almost be a good job. I love art glitter glue, but it's almost a job that Eileen's glue too because you're using so much of it. And then let me get this other tab. Okay, so you'll kind of ease that on in there. Bring it down to the sides. This one is going to go right on that edge. And then this one will be out this side. And I'm going to flip it. Put the pressure in there to get that glue to stay in place. This side as well. There we go. Now, if you'll notice, there's a little bit of an edge here that isn't flat, and that's okay. That's just because whenever you do scoring and folding and cutting and stuff, sometimes they slip around. So I'm just going to even that off with my scissors. This corner up here is going to be covered by that eagle anyway. Get a nicer line there. There we go. And then we'll cut this one as well, just so we have a straight edge. There we go. Okay. Now this is that other little piece that we had cut, and this is going to be your spacer. It's going to drop inside, and we're going to be gluing these two tabs to the side, and this will go right up against the end, and it'll sit right in there like that. And then that's going to be your divider. So let's put some glue on here. And I'll put some glue over here. Because if you remember, this box is 4 by 8, and we cut these at 3 3/4. So it sits down a little bit. I'll put that there. And just slide it right into place. And right over here. This also adds shaping to your box too. So just pat that down, make sure that the edge is on the bottom on both sides and that it's forward. And then I'll just use my bone folder and put it set down. Okay, so I'm hoping you're a step ahead of me and you're thinking, oh wow, that's going to be great for 4th of July. But wouldn't that be great if you did it in Halloween colors and you filled it up with all kinds of goodies? There you have it. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing is cutting out these papers. Now, I gave you the sizes on that first sheet, but I went ahead and cut mine. And these are my 2 end pieces that I cut out. And I wanted to take off some of the whiteness. So I used one of these, I use Cali Art. They're just little markers. You can use Distress ink if you want. You can leave them plain if you want. It's going to look good either way, but I just wanted to take the white out. So I'm just using blue, and I'm using that on all of my edges. So I'll just take a second. I love these markers. They give it a nice clean look. You want to make sure that when you are doing the edges, you use the fat side of the marker and have your printed side up so that you don't slip and mark up your design. So those are going to be going on the end like that. And let me go ahead and glue those on. Okay, so I'm just going to center that. Like that. And then I'll turn it over so I can put the pressure on the back here. And then we'll put one on the other end. So these were those two that we cut that were 3 3/4 square. What I did was I used a Americana kit that I got from an Etsy designer. It was called Chicory Cottage. I haven't been able to find it again. I had it a long time ago, but that was the designer. And I brought her kit into Photoshop. I use Elements, Photoshop Elements, and cut it to the size that I wanted. This had a lot of design around it, but I thought that that says Sweet Land of Liberty all the way around it. So let me press that down. Now, using the same kit for the sides, I went ahead and made these two. These were the ones that were 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. And I did 2 different designs because I wanted this to be if you're using it as a centerpiece, you wanted everybody to have a nice view from whatever side they're on. So this piece is going to go right here, and then this one is going to go on the other side. So first I'm going to mark the edges. There we go. Do this one. Now, I wanted to add some dimension, so what I did with just a standard star punch, I punched out these little stars. And there's going to be one on each side. There's the big one to cover up that little star. I'll put that one right there. And I did 3 different sizes. So I'm going to be using pop-ups to put the 2 stars on there, just to give it the dimension. So I'll put this one right there. I'm going to probably put 3 of the pop-ups on here, because that's got to support a couple layers. I'll put those guys over here. Okay, so I'm just going to put these on before I glue it on the side, just because it's easier to work that way. I'll put that there. This one's going to go on the top. Like that. Now I cut out a blue one just to give some contrast. So let me go ahead and color his edges. Now you know you can get pop-ups everywhere. My favorite pop-ups are the dimensionals that you get from Stampin' Up, and I'll show you why. Not only because they work good, but they have a couple different sizes. And let me get the other star while I'm at it. Gosh, I'm getting messy today. I've got ink on my fingers. Oh well, that's half the fun of crafting, right? I'll finish that. Set that to the side. You can get black pop-ups. And when you're working with black, obviously, or something dark like this blue, it's great because you can't see the pop-up. So I'm going to use black dimensionals and put that on here. Great. Oh gosh, that is so cute. Look how it gives it a nice little dimension so it can stand up for you. And I'll go put these others on. Oops, ran out of big ones, so I'll have to put on a couple little ones there. I kind of found that if you use your little pokey tool, it kind of helps get the backings off. You just put some pressure on and pop it up. I picked these up at Dollar Tree. They work really good. So I'll put this one there. Take the backing off. And that guy goes in the middle. I'm lucky that I'm not getting blue all over this star, aren't I? Because my fingers are full of ink. So that's probably very good. And then I'm going to use another one of those black dimensionals. And we'll just put that on there. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the sides on at this point before we get into the eagle and the military symbols, just because I'm not too sure how it's all going to shake down. So let's go ahead and put the side on. Just a little sidebar for you guys. This little plastic container that I put my glue in whenever I'm working is a crystal light container. Crystal light crystals used to come in there. Now they just package them up in paper. But boy, they make great little holders. So I just use that to keep my glue from clogging up in between. All right, so I'm going to put this in the center. And I'm going to hold it before I press it down. Well, that looks good. All right. And then we just gently roll that over. Get that side. And I think I can trim that just a little bit better right there. Got a little piece sticking out. There we go. Okay, so that's on that side. And then this is going to go on the other side. I had so much fun finding the different emblems and just designing for 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. I like all the noise and the color and the meaning behind it. We'd have nothing if we didn't have our military that looks out for us and our country. All right, Oh, that's going on real nice. I'm going to fold that over so I can press it down on this side. Okay. Now, I have to tell you about this eagle. This is the eagle that's going to go up here in the corner. I was on Creative Fabricia, wonderful site on the internet, and I found this eagle and I thought, oh my gosh, I love it. I have to do something with it. So that's what started me down the path to come up with this centerpiece for the holiday. So I brought him into Photoshop, got the size that I wanted, and I reversed it so that I could have one on each side. Depending on where you're looking, you wouldn't want to find white on the back. So we're going to glue him up here. And he's just kind of coming in for a landing there. So let me glue about 3/4 of the way, because we have to glue one on each side of that side of your box. So I'll bring this down about halfway. I mean 3/4 of the way. Like that. Actually, I'm just going to do the whole thing. And I'll try and be clever and not stick it to the side. You got to do it on both sides down here, because the upper part will pick up that upper part. But we want the lower part to stick to the side. So I'm just going to glue this one this way. Alright, so let's see just how cleverly we can attach this eagle. I'll start with his wings. And when I cut him out, I cut him out with a little bit of an edge around it, just so that we can get the great shape that he is. So I'm keeping this open at the bottom. And I want to have kind of an angle. See which way you want to put it. You want to have him going this way or that way. I'm just going to have him like coming in like a parachuter. So bring that over here. Get that out of the way. Got to be gentle because you don't want him to stick together. And make sure his wings are lined up with the side here. You don't want it way over the edge. So I think about like that looks good. So now I'm just pressing everything down. And see how he looks from the back too. That way, depending on what you put inside your basket, you don't just have a blank white spot back there. Oh, I fell in love with this eagle. I'm just going to do some more fun things with him for other projects, so probably be back to that. Okay, now let me go ahead and put on our little military. I found these on the internet, and I punched them out with my circular punch. And I got the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the Air Force. And I know we have many more branches, but I can't fit them all on here. And I'm going to go ahead and use pop-ups to put them on. And I'm going to use 2 on each one, just because I'm thinking this is going to get handled a lot. And I didn't bring any of the bigger pop-ups with me, so I'm going to go ahead and use the black. It'll be fine. If I had brought them out, I would go ahead and use white. No biggie. They'll do their job, that's for sure. Okay. And I don't really have any particular order that I'm putting them in. I just want them to be scattered on the side where the eagle's coming in. So I'm going to kind of eyeball it and put one up here. And you can tilt them, put them up straight, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm just going to helter-skelter them right in like that. And then this one I'll put over here. And then this one up here. And the last one over here in this corner. Wow, look at that. Isn't that fun how that's coming together? There's your side. And then we're just going to finish this off by doing the other side the same way. Clean up my mess here. Sometimes this takes the longest, just putting all these pieces in, but it sure is fun. Up here. You know, this is silly. All of this is going to go up there, and it's going to look like that. I'm not going to have you just sit and watch me put those on. So, I hope you have as much fun with this as I did. So I'm going to move him over, put the finished product in. As you can see, it's just got the perfect spot there for the napkins, and then the other side is where I put in the utensils. So I'll get all my stuff out of the way. And there you have it. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Have a great time making that. Thanks for coming by.